Welcome back, Barbara from Lawadish.
Thank you. It's a
Once
pleasure.
again, this
Yeah.
is numero cinco.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So tell me what you want to talk about.
Well, I've been really diving in a very practical, non-intellectual way
Uh-huh.
into detachment lately, and
Oh,
for
yeah?
me, it it makes sense that it's relevant to where I am at this point,
Okay.
and so I would like to talk about detachment.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about it.
It's a big word,
Detachment. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it's not taken in the right way. I feel like
How so?
I've been talking with friends, like close friends and people that I really am used to open up, and I'm used to see their reactions when I talk and see how they are understanding what I'm talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
I have been realizing that this is not a problem, but I've been
Mm-hmm.
realizing that it's a big thing when I say when they ask, "Oh, Barbara, so how has it been? How are you dealing with situations that I know about my life?" And I use the word and I say, "Well, I've been really trying to focus a lot on how to detach from emotions and situations and fear and so many things that are going on, and just to yeah
Mm-hmm.
to connect more with myself,
Yeah.
not with that."
Yeah.
And the reaction is always very strange.
Right. Right.
People look at me with this, ah, okay, right, yeah, and then they come with a lot of ideas about what they think it is, and I find myself explaining myself a lot, and I'm starting to get a bit tiring. But anyway, um,
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Douglas, what is detachment? Let's start here, just to warm up a bit. What is detachment? Because for a lot of people, it means, you don't care, you don't feel, you put it away, you hide from it,
Mm-hmm.
you pretend it's not there.
Oh, uh-huh.
This
Right.
is this is what I get from the conversations I've been having, and
Yeah.
it makes sense because I felt like that in the beginning when I started listening to these concepts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like that anymore. But I want to,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just let's start with the conversation. What is detachment? Emotional detachment.
Emotional
Yeah.
detachment. I like to call it disidentification,
Mm-hmm.
which is not identifying with the personality. And emotions are part of the personality. They're part of the person, right? We
Mm-hmm.
all have emotions and thoughts and sensations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So detachment is, to me, is the same as disidentification, which is not buying into what's going on with the emotions, not identifying with the emotions, ceasing to identify with the emotions. And when you do that, then it, it's freedom. It's freedom from the emotions. Normally, we're controlled. We think we're controlled by our
Mm-hmm.
emotions. We think emotions have the power to cause us suffering, right? Normally, that's what we think about them.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us don't really know what emotions are in the first place. They just happen and they come upon us. And it can be very overwhelming when you're identified with the emotion. So it's very common to say, I am angry.
Mm-hmm.
That's an identification. You're saying, I am
Feeling
this.
angry. It would be the opposite, or the other way.
What's
Huh?
that?
Instead of I am angry, I
Yeah.
am feeling
Right,
angry at the
right.
moment.
But normally yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But normally we say I am angry.
Mhm.
So we think of ourselves as an angry person or
Yeah.
the anger itself,
It's our
right?
identity.
That's identifying with it.
Yeah.
So when we identify with it, we're attaching ourselves to it, right? So the opposite is detaching, right?
Mhm.
So then when we see it for what it is, which is just an emotion, has nothing to do with what we are ultimately, right? So
Mhm.
ultimately, we're not the personality. So emotions being a part of the personality, um, then when you say, I'm not that, I'm not the personality, then you no longer suffer by the emotions because you're not identifying with it. It's just something that is appearing.
Mhm.
It's a vivid appearance in the vast expanse
Mhm.
of pure awareness, which is what you are, which is what we are.
So
So
it's not really, I mean, identifying, as you say, is one thing, and identifying is when you really feel like this is who you are. This is your
yeah,
core, this is your story, this is your
right.
personality, this is your who you are at the moment. There's a difference between that and going to the emotion, observing the emotion,
Yeah,
feeling the emotion, and allowing that feeling
yeah,
of the emotion,
yeah,
and even dive into it for some
yeah,
time,
yeah.
but always with the awareness that this is not who I am. This is
Right,
something that will pass.
right.
But
Exactly.
also, if we are, sometimes there's a really fine line between actually accepting that emotion and I realize and to say this will pass, because when you're saying this will pass, this is not who I am, you are pushing it away in a way.
I think it depends.
For what I've been realizing, like accepting for some time that this is the emotion, it's here, and I need to live it and experience it
Uh-huh.
and go deep into it and accept it. I am really feeling like this. I'm really feeling sad, hurt, betrayed, whatever. And really acknowledging this, I think it's an important part of the process, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
Instead of always from the beginning thinking, this is not who I am, this is not who I am, this is not me, because that will also push in a
Right.
way. This is an attempt to push it
Right.
out from the feeling of it. And
Right.
I think this is where a lot of people get a bit confused. There is a fine line between the process of how you accept first the emotion and then you let it go. You
Uh-huh.
see?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think it might be uh, very possible that we immediately go to the letting go phase. But it seems to me that the welcoming it first is
Yeah.
really an important phase. And normally when we talk about letting go and detachment, we don't consider this. And lately I've been, really observing it, how important that is. It's something that I don't even realize that is happening. I just feel like crying and sad, and I normally used to just put it out and put it away and focus on something else, and now I allow myself to just do it. Oh yeah, it's coming, there's something coming, and I need to sit with it,
Yeah.
and I do it, and then I do my process of letting go in whatever way. There's
Mhm.
many, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't come so often, it doesn't repeatedly come, it doesn't insist. And yeah. And when I see some videos or some people talking about detachment, I don't see them talking about this, which is the first phase, the first step is actually to welcome the
Yeah.
emotion.
Yeah. Right.
Do you agree?
I agree absolutely
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Mm.
and that's been my experience with it too. Um so in order to let something go, you have to have it. You have to really be
Yeah.
experiencing it, right?
Yeah.
If you're just if you just um yeah, if you try to let it go without fully letting it come up, then you're not really letting it go, are you? Because
Exactly.
you haven't really experienced
Exactly.
it.
Then it
Yeah.
becomes
So you have to let it
mm,
just fully come up and um
sit with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, let it
Acceptance.
be there without trying to push it away or pull
Hmm.
it towards you or trying to change it in some way.
And sometimes it takes long, and
So
it's
yeah,
really hard time, and you suffer like hell.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
But just the idea that, okay, I am suffering, I am going through this,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I just allow this to happen.
Yeah.
It makes it somehow more bearable,
Yeah.
because the
Mhm.
fear doesn't take over.
Right, right.
Normally we go into the fear of, oh, am I going to become depressed? Am I going to go into a panic attack? Am I going to not be able to work tomorrow? Am I going to, whatever it
Yeah.
is, the fear, not being able to deal with whatever. And no, actually it does pass. And it's important that we are aware of that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be a couple of hours of
Yeah.
struggling
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hell,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
or few minutes,
Right,
depends,
right.
and then you're somewhere else, and then your brain is somewhere else. You are somewhere, not your brain, but you are somewhere else, and then you deal with it, and you keep doing your things. Yeah, in this last, it has been really important to me, this, because I did, attachment is my main mantra all these years. I'm 46, but I do realize now that attachment is a big issue that created a lot of beauty in my life, but also it brought a lot of beauty, but it also brought a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And sometimes observing that even your body does it naturally, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Like when there was the fires, we were all, alert,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a time that I went to my balcony and I was listening to all the groups on the phone telling me all the situation around here and what was going on. And I knew that the place where I work had a fire very close, the project that I started and, that I really love. And the fire was very close. And then in my house, the fire was just behind the hill. And I was just having a cigarette and thinking, really shaking and really afraid. And I was just feeling overwhelmed with emotions and just feeling, wow, okay, this is amazing. Like I can lose my job tomorrow. I can lose my house tomorrow. I lost my relationship of a lifetime recently. What else? And at the same time, there's something when you say this to yourself, when you acknowledge this, instead of just diving into the pain of it, that makes you feel like, okay, well, maybe there's something else coming. I don't know. Let's see what's up. Let's see why. There's a curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
I think the level, when we go into this fear situation, your body naturally comes to a point that it cannot hold for so long, and it brings this awareness naturally. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I felt that it has been happening.
Right.
Yeah, like when it's there's this feeling of overwhelm and you're really afraid of losing and afraid of loss, and then suddenly it just it comes to a point that the fear you cannot hold that fear for so much long. Your body cannot hold it. It's not good for you. It's not. And then suddenly, even without trying, it comes to a point of it came to a point of, well, okay, maybe I will lose my job, maybe I will
Right.
lose my house, maybe I already lost you know part of my family. What is coming? What is coming? And suddenly you start thinking of that, and it's really releasing.
Yeah,
And it's
right.
really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But then I was thinking, okay, because this is a acute situation, okay, a very stressful acute situation in the middle of fires everywhere, but on an ongoing basis, on a routine in your daily life and all that. Sometimes I've been thinking, why would you want to detach? Why? Why do you want to detach? What is the reason?
Why do I want to
Yeah,
attach?
yeah,
Detach?
detach. Yeah,
Why do I want to
from the
detach?
emotions. Yes.
Because attachment is suffering, and not attaching, non-attachment is the opposite of suffering. It's a
Mm.
release. It's being what you really are ultimately. And this knowledge, this wisdom, wisdom is automatic detachment. It's automatic disidentification. It's it's pulling back from the story
Mm-hmm.
and seeing what really is. And so I don't necessarily want to detach
Mm-hmm.
from anything, but I realize, or wisdom is the realization that I'm not these things, and therefore I can choose to suffer or not. And so I choose not to suffer because I know what's really happening. I know what's really going on here. There's just an emotion. It comes up. Emotion comes up from a thought.
Mm-hmm.
All emotions are born out of thoughts. So, and because we see something out there, we think it's real. We think that it has substance, that it has existence from its own side. And therefore, it opposes us, or it is oppositional in nature. And we want to try to control it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's a subject object relationship that we think is real, and when it changes, as all things do, all the time, um, and we're trying to hold on to what we thought was there,
Mm-hmm.
wanting it to be permanent, we realize it's impermanent, and we try to change it, either make it stay the same or change it into something that we want it to be, that's more comfortable for us,
Mm-hmm.
or more satisfactory, or that benefits us in some way. And so and so then wisdom is the realization that it's just a projection of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's just a projection of the mind, it's like a mirage. Have you ever seen a mirage? Like
Yeah.
a real mirage?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I used to live in the desert in Arizona in the US.
Okay.
And you'd be driving on the highway and it's like very flat.
That's where I ever saw them.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
In Arizona?
No, on the highway.
Oh, it's like, when did you go to
Never been
Arizona?
in Arizona.
Okay. On the highway. Okay, right.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know that the closer you get to the mirage, it looks like
Yeah.
it like in Arizona, it looks like there's a big lake, like it's a
Okay.
huge body of water.
Yeah, here
And
in
then the
Portugal
closer you
is a
get to it.
pond. A
Oh, okay,
little pond on the
right.
highway.
But you know that the
Yeah.
closer you get to it, you
Yeah.
realize it's not what you thought it
Yeah, but
was.
you need to go close to it. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the key
Yeah.
right there, is in order to see the mirage for what it is,
Mm-hmm.
you have to really look at it. You have to bring it close and really examine it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the closer you get, the more you realize, oh, it's not what I thought it was. There is no object out there that I thought. That
Mm-hmm.
was just a thought. That was an assumption that I made about what that was out there. Right. And then you got closer and then you realize, oh, it's something else. It's not what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do that all day long with everything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everything is a mirage. Uh, uh, in a way, you could say everything is a
Everything
mirage.
is a mirage.
Ultimately, not.
So when to act then?
What
When
do you
to
mean?
act? When not? When? This is why I'm asking why we should detach or when we should detach, because sometimes what you are observing is some need for action, for controlling it. Action is a bit that, isn't it? It's a way of control.
It
You
depends.
you
No,
act to avoid something or to make something happen,
it,
and you work on whatever way to get to a point that it's better for
it
you.
depends on what the action is coming from, what the intention behind the action is. So
Hmm.
you can be acting out of ignorance, or you can be acting out of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have wisdom, we see things for what they are, and action just comes normally. It's very natural. It's in the flow, and it just happens.
Doesn't
You just
require effort. It's
No, not
actually.
really. No,
Mm-hmm.
not the way we think of effort normally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the flow. It's just what's happening, and so action just comes out of this spontaneity of the perfection of wisdom, or the perfection of things as they are.
Mm.
So everything is changing all the time, and we're also, these bodies are acting all the time. They're everything. You can't stop the body from acting. It's always
Mhm.
something's always moving, right? There's
Yeah.
always
Your
all these
body
parts and
or your
everything.
your brain from making a
Yeah,
plan about how to deal with a certain situation.
yeah,
We all
yeah,
do that, and
yeah,
it's part of being alive.
yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
It's very natural, and
Mhm.
so when we're aware of what's happening, ultimately, how things really are, then action just takes place very naturally, and there's no effort behind it in a way that we're used to thinking of effort,
Mhm.
like this. I need to struggle to do this, to make this a certain way, to change my life, or to make it stay the same.
But sometimes there are hard decisions to make,
um,
or not.
yes, but it doesn't matter,
Mm.
because a decision will be made one way or the other, and it doesn't matter if if what direction it goes, because
Yeah.
everything is fine the way it is, you know so the decision just comes naturally. In my experience, the decision comes out of, like, if I'm thinking of what to do, this or that, um um I can let my mind go through the cost benefit analysis of which one is better for
Yeah.
myself and everyone else. And
Yeah.
but this the I can let my mind do that, but ultimately I can just say it doesn't really matter what I do, one way
Yeah.
or the other, because it's going to be fine either way. You know what I mean? Because if everything is as
It's
it
gonna be
is,
fine for whom?
so there's one thing about acting out of wisdom that is important to see, is that
Mm.
when we act out of wisdom, we act for the whole. We don't act out of selfish desire or ignorant desire. We act for the benefit of the whole, which means ourselves and everyone else and everything, every being in
Mhm.
existence. We automatically act out for the benefit of the whole, because we know that we're a part of the whole,
Yeah.
and that the whole is all there
And the whole
is.
is one.
And the
Yes.
whole is one, and it's all there is. But we know that experientially, not just as an intellectual idea.
Mhm.
We know it experientially, and that's where that action comes out of, that spontaneous wisdom. It comes out of that, and then it's perfect as it is. Whatever action happens, it's perfect as it is.
Yeah.
So um, it's getting to that point where we see that things are just as they are, and don't really need to change, or we don't need to try to control the outcome of
That
that.
that
So
is so
that
big.
getting to that point is the work of the spiritual work. It's
Mm.
the yeah. And also, you were talking about deciding to detach or not, when
Mhm.
to detach, and when to, we don't have to really think about that at all. That's just another point of view. We don't have to take a point of view at all. We can just rest as awareness. And when we rest as awareness, there's automatic detachment.
But I don't
Bec-
wanna suffer. I want to detach.
right, right,
I'm kidding.
right, right.
No, I went through this phase,
Yeah,
but I'm not there anymore. Just took some seconds.
yeah.
But
But
I
you
remember
know
having
it.
this thought,
You
yeah,
know
like, but
it.
I don't want to suffer.
Right,
I'm
right.
done with this. I want to detach from this stuff, and
Yeah,
this, but
yeah.
it's,
But we learn. It's a gradual thing for most people,
yeah.
to learn to just rest with whatever is there. And when we rest and see the essence of whatever it is that we're experiencing, we see the essence of it. We rest as the essence of that. Then there's no deciding. There's no having to decide to to when to detach, or should I detach, or what to do with this
Yeah.
emotion, or how to approach it, or what decision to make, what's the best thing for me, what's the best thing for everyone else. All those things are just points of view, and they will just subside when we rest, and then the mind is not going and
Yeah.
trying to solve all the problems and trying to strategize about everything, because there's nothing to strategize about. Everything is as it is.
Yeah, but we grow up learning that
Absolutely, yeah. We're trained.
strategizing is
Yeah.
the way. It's
Yeah.
being afraid, controlling, and knowing what to do, when to act, in the right moment. And where is the right moment? Where the hell is the right moment? And I mean, for some simple things that we are good at it. We become good at it as we age. But
Yeah.
the more deepest, feelings that come out of deep suffering, it's not so simple to decide to let it, to allow you to feel the moment where you
Uh-huh.
know that this will come. I mean, I've I grew up really. I was raised to think in this way, to find solutions, to think, to overthink, to question everything, to go deep into all the subjects. And that was a great tool for many years. But then I also see how it's damaging in certain parts of my life, in certain experiences of my life. And now I'm actually learning how to, like, if I feel like, okay, I don't know how to do this, I don't know when to do this or how to do this, and I come to this wall, I've been able to lately just say, well, maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll have the answer, which is amazing, which is incredible, because normally I would just not sleep the whole night thinking about it, and trying to find a way. But yeah, it is simple it might be simple in situations that are more simple in life, but there are others that is not so simple, like, in a relationship. How do you let go a relationship that is not working? And how do you decide, I'm not going to fight for it, I'm not going to work on it, I'm not going to show that I care about it, I'm not going to give the other person tools to allow him or whatever to do something about this? I'm just going to let it be. But this is a big decision. This is something huge that we need to come. But still, you would say that even in those situations, it's probably the best to just let it be, or not.
I can't speak for anyone else, really.
Sure.
In my
I'm
experience,
not
the best thing is
asking.
just to follow my intuition.
Mm,
And when I'm really connected to my intuition, there's no decision to make. It just makes itself. It
okay.
just it's just I'm just following what is there. I'm following the intuition, or I'm following the
Yeah.
natural flow of whatever is happening. Um, and when I'm not there, so when I have been stuck in strategizing and trying to figure things out about relationships or anything else, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything.
Hmm.
When I'm stuck in the strategizing mind, then there's just automatically there's effort and there's suffering, and
Yeah.
because there's this trying to get to a solution to something. Um, but when I'm aware, when I'm resting in awareness, or when I'm in a when I'm with wisdom, when I'm having wisdom, then there really is no choice to make. Things just
The action just comes to you
it just
at whatever
comes. It
moment.
just
And you know in
comes.
that moment that this is what you should be doing. The thing is the moment, isn't it?
It is the
It's not
moment.
thinking about the future. It's actually
Right.
being aware that in a certain moment, it comes,
Yeah,
and then you act upon it.
exactly. And
You
so,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, and this comes with the recognition that strategizing and any kind of intellectual effort does not pan out for us in a good way.
Mm.
It doesn't really help us. It's
Why is that? Why doesn't it help us? What is the
because
main reason why
it's a
that it
dead end
doesn't?
road. It's always a dead end road. You're always trying to get somewhere. You're trying to get somewhere that you already are. You know, you're trying to find happiness. Every single desire that we have, even the tiniest, most subtle desires we have,
Mm,
are ultimately a desire for happiness and wholeness,
mm,
right? Um, and we're already that. So any any thought that um, I have that is a desire for something to change or to stay the same, or I wanting something that I think is out there, um, a relationship or um, anything else, then that is a dead end road. It's it's wanting something that I already am. I am already what I'm seeking. So if I'm seeking it outside of myself with the intellect, with uh, thinking, then I'm going to have a really hard time getting in what I want um, because that's not really what I want. What I really want is just to be myself and to rest as myself, my ultimately um, um, pure, all pervading wisdom, awareness, presence, pure love. You know, if I'm looking outside of myself for that, then it's always a dead end road. I'm never going to find it. So
so how
that's
would
why strategizing doesn't
yeah,
work because
yeah,
when you get the thing that you think that you wanted, then your desire will turn to something else. Oh, okay, I don't really, that didn't make me happy, so I'm going to find another relationship, another person to try to latch onto
mm.
and thinking that they're going to solve all my problems.
It can be that, but it might not be that. How do you differentiate? Why would we look for connection then? If we can become so self-sufficient in everything, why would we even want or
It's a good
need to
question.
connect? Because we do in the end, don't we? Or not? Or is the goal just being so self-sufficient that we don't need anything or anyone to the point
No,
that
I don't
what
think
is it
so.
then? Because
I
it
think it's
sounds
a
like that a little bit. I mean, I see the value of what you're saying, but at the same time, if you take it to an extreme, you just see that, but why would then I try to connect with anyone?
it's a good question. I think we naturally, as humans, we naturally want to connect. This is
Yeah.
how we are. We're
Okay.
social beings.
Because we learn from other
Right.
people, we grow with other people,
But
we have mirrors in other people.
we can connect with other people without being attached to them, though. You see the
Mm,
difference?
yes.
So we can let ourselves socialize or have relationships of any kind, knowing that that relationship ultimately cannot make us happy. It
Mm,
cannot give us what we really want. That doesn't mean we stop having relationships. It doesn't mean we stop going out and socializing with people. We realize that we're a part of the whole. So everyone else is same as what we are. You know, there's no real separation.
but everything becomes so relative when you come to a point of not needing anyone.
What do you mean?
Like if you really connect with your wisdom and with whatever happens in the moment and the knowledge that comes in the moment, and you don't really need people. You
Yeah,
don't need them.
right.
Yes, okay. But then what would make you go to connect with them then? in the end if you don't need?
I don't really need to drink this tea right now, but I'm going to do it anyway.
But why are you doing it then?
It's just what's happening.
No, but why are you
It's just-
drinking it?
I honestly, I don't know,
Yes.
but it's happening. So I'm doing it. It's an
Mm,
impulse, right? It's an impulse for
okay,
me to
the
drink this
impulse.
tea, but I don't need. If you took this tea away from me, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah,
If you threw this glass against the wall and broke it,
you would be upset.
I
Come
probably
on.
I probably wouldn't be upset. I'd be a little
What the fuck?
freaked out. Like, what is up with you, Barbara? Like, why did you throw my
Yeah.
glass against the wall?
Mm.
Um, is there something wrong with you? Like, is it,
Yeah.
but I don't think I would be upset. I would just be like kind of miffed. Like, okay,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
But you would not be sad for losing the tea and not drinking the tea.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
that's
not
it.
at all.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, there could be more extreme versions. Like I haven't been able to drink anything for like a week. That might be really like really extreme version.
Hmm. Yeah.
And depending on the amount of wisdom I have, I would be able to be fine or not be fine with that. You know what I mean?
And does
So
that change the amount of wisdom you have according to moments of the day or days?
it seems like it. It
Okay, how
seems
does it
like
work
it.
then for you?
Um, it depends on how aware I am during the
Mm,
day. You know, um, and how much I'm tapping into my ground of being. Um, and or versus how lost in thought I'm getting.
mhm,
So, and it's interesting what I realized over the years is that nothing bad has ever really happened to me when I was present. I never really, I could almost say I never really suffered, but maybe that's not so true. Like if it was really sick and I was in pain or something, I might be fully present, but um, not not experiencing so much suffering, but maybe there was some suffering there. Maybe
mhm,
there was some pain that I wanted to resist.
mm,
You know,
mhm,
um, now I see that the more detached or the more I disidentified from the body I am, the less actual pain there is, and actual suffering there is.
mhm.
Or maybe there's pain, but not really suffering.
Yeah.
So for me, in my experience, it depends on um, how present I am with what is, or how I'm viewing myself. You know, if there is no me, there's no one to suffer, right? So that's the ultimate self inquiry. According to Advaita Vedanta
Mhm,
and other Eastern traditions, such as Buddhism, the traditions of Buddhism. Um, if there's no me, how can there be suffering if there's no me? There's just what's happening, right? Everything is just happening, and it's not subject or object related. It's not imbued with this what we call a misunderstanding of reality. It's not. There's no confusion about what is there and what is not. It's just it's all just happening as it's happening, and there really is no one there to experience it. And so when I'm in that, then there's never been any suffering as long as I can um, stay as
there
that.
is pain, but no suffering. You're putting a difference here, yeah? Like
Yeah,
there is pain, which means
yeah.
you still feel, the
Well, it's a
sadness,
sensation.
the
Pain is a
yes,
sensation in the
yeah.
body,
But the
right?
suffering is actually when it lingers on and you drown in that pain and you identify with it and you
Yeah, I
go
think
with it,
so.
yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Although pain is in itself a kind of suffering itself, because there's still a little bit of identification with the body.
Mm-hmm.
If we were completely unidentified with the body or
Not even
disidentified it,
pain.
well, it would be like if you cut your finger, would I feel it? Would be like that. I wouldn't feel it. I would have compassion for you, but I wouldn't feel the actual pain. So it
Mm-hmm.
would be something like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Um,
you were saying you never felt pain.
I never suffered
Uh,
when I was fully aware, fully
okay, when
present,
you were fully present.
and
Yeah.
no accidents have ever happened when I was aware.
Mm-hmm.
All the accidents only happened when I was lost in thought. And so that's one of the things that helped me realize, like, oh, actually, I'm creating my reality. The thoughts are creating the reality. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the thinking mind
Mm-hmm.
is projecting, and even if I'm not aware that it's projecting, it's still projecting. You know, I could not be aware that I'm thinking something, and then that thing occurs. You know, it's under my consciousness, subconscious
Mm-hmm.
sort of projection that happens. Um, so, and it's I don't I don't think you can really control that. I mean, you maybe you can control it, but it's not so easy to control how the mind projects because it takes a lot of discipline to um, to focus the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and most of us Westerners don't have that kind of discipline. so, so I stopped trying to control my reality at a certain point, and then I realized like it doesn't really matter if I control my reality or not because it's all a mirage. You know, it's all it's either going to be one way or another way. You know,
So you
and
don't feel bad
ultimately, it
if
doesn't
you
bring
are
me
real.
happiness anyway. It's not going to
Okay.
bring me happiness anyway,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's this way or that way. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So why try to control what's happening? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's the realization that I had, and then um, then everything that I learned in these traditions that I studied in really started to make sense. You know, like um, it doesn't really matter. Like all of these things suddenly don't really have consequence that I used to think. You know, they were not so important as I thought before. And the most important thing is, am I either caught up in a thought and believing in the point of view, whatever point of view I'm having, am I caught up in that? Am I believing in that? Or am I able to step back and rest as the awareness that I am? And there's
Mm-hmm.
always that choice. And so that's the most important choice. That's for me, that's the most important thing. Everything else is in a way you could say it's superficial, you know. Um, it's not as important as that because that's everything. Self knowledge is everything. Self realization is the whole shebang. It's the whole deal.
But does the awareness of all that requires a certain level of suffering
What do you mean?
to come to this? It's what you're talking about. It makes sense to me, but it makes sense to me on a process of a time. Since for example, I started meditating, it starts becoming more real and more.
Right.
There's a truth in it. But I also realize, would I be able to acknowledge this some years ago or last year or in situations that I wasn't in pain, basically experiencing difficult situations? Isn't it a bit of a contrasense? Uh, um, a contradiction
contradiction.
that to understand that, to not understand logically, but to accept that what you're saying about, our true wisdom and the connection with ourselves, who we really are, and not our mind and all that, it requires a certain level of suffering for you to understand it, for you to get there.
I can't generalize about that.
Mm,
Maybe for you.
mm,
Um, for me, I think my suffering it drove me up against the wall. You know,
hmm. I think that's what it
it put
does.
me in a corner, and I
Yeah,
didn't have any other choice.
exactly.
So, and yeah, so suffering in that way was very useful for me,
Yeah,
and I
but
probably wouldn't have have gone that direction without the
without that,
suffering.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's a very good point.
yeah.
And it's interesting. They say in the traditions of Buddhism that we humans are in a place within the six realms. Um, we have the best opportunity. So there's hell beings, there's pretas or
Pretas?
hungry ghosts.
Uh-huh.
There's animals, and then there's humans, demigods, and gods. And so the gods have amazing lives. They
Mm.
it's just very pleasant,
Yeah,
and
VIPs.
everything goes around. Everything goes right. Yeah,
Yeah.
VIPs
Mm.
of the
Privilege,
3D world.
privilege
Yeah,
bastards.
yeah. Um, and the demigods are jealous of the gods, so they have this jealousy thing. But
Hierarchy.
they have a better experience than the humans. They're not suffering as much as the humans are.
Okay.
Um,
It's a
what
class
happens?
system. Amazing.
Yeah,
In the
right.
spiritual realm. Wow.
Yeah. Well, what happens is you. This is the problem with. I'm going to go into this. I don't know
Hmm.
how interested you are in
No,
this.
I
It's
am. I
really. I
am
think it's
totally
really
interested.
interested.
Yeah.
I think it's really
Especially
interesting.
the pretas. I didn't understand.
A hungry ghost, like ghosts. We think of,
Okay.
it's like ghosts. Ghosts are stuck in a house somewhere,
Yeah.
and uh, they're trying to get somewhere, or they're trying to.
Because I'm sorry, I'm just stopping here because when I had this ayahuasca ceremony, which was big and really, a huge thing for me. And there was a time that I was aware of everything around me, and there were these beings. I connected with really strange beings that I never connected before, and some that were really like causing me a bit of curiosity but a bit of fear also was these black beings, all in black, like shadows, going around me, looking at me, but not touching me, not coming towards me, but like going around. And I was observing them, and I was a bit afraid of them. But I was thinking, what is that? And even after that image stayed. I mean, I forgot several things, but I memorized many others. And that was one of the parts that scared me the most, but I could not really understand. What is that? What the hell was that? Do you think that could explain it?
Yeah, that could have been it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but it
Mm,
sounds like it could have been it. You know, yeah, ghosts are real
mm,
in my experience,
okay.
definitely. Um, and I believe these teachings because I've seen these beings
Hmm.
firsthand.
With no drugs, with nothing.
No,
Just, yeah.
no,
Okay.
just with meditation
Okay.
and going into uh, different levels of reality.
Hmm.
So it's interesting, yeah. Um, the they say that humans have the greatest opportunity, or maybe the only opportunity to reach complete enlightenment, because they're suffering just enough, but
Yeah.
they have all the physical structure of a human enables them to go straight up to experience full enlightenment if they so choose. So,
Okay. And
and
the
this
ones
is,
below humans
I
don't have
don't,
that opportunity.
I don't think so. I think they're suffering too much.
But they can become humans.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So it's just a
It takes a long
hierarchy.
time,
Yeah.
apparently, many
Okay.
lifetimes, apparently, according to the teachings. And the demigods and gods um, are where they're at because they have gained a lot of merit from previous lifetimes.
Hmm.
But the merit they gained, they call it sometimes they call it dirty good karma. So it's good karma, but it's not karma with wisdom.
Hmm.
And so you get into higher levels of being. You get reborn as a demigod, and then as a god, because of all these great deeds that you've done.
Hmm.
And so you're experiencing all this, you know, very nice, pleasant circumstances.
Okay.
Um, but the problem is then you once you exhaust all of that good karma, you drop all the way down
Mm.
to an animal or
To the
preta
base.
or
Yeah.
wherever. Yeah, so you
Uh,
drop way down because you've exhausted all that, and
you don't stay
you're
there.
not well unless you gain wisdom at that level.
You are in unless you are enlightened.
Yeah,
Okay.
unless you become enlightened, or
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I don't know how possible it is for those beings to become enlightened because they're not really suffering very much. So
Mm.
there's no impetus. Why
Why would
should
they?
I gain wisdom when I'm just having a good time all the time, you know?
But then all there
So
is left for them is to go back to the cycle again and again and
yeah,
again. Oh my God, that's
yeah,
depressing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay. But it's funny
so
that human reality. It's almost like the Earth being the only planet, in our system and
right,
around
right.
that actually is able to
Yeah.
have
It's a
life.
whole life, yeah.
And if
Right.
it was a few more, distance, towards the sun
Yeah.
or out of it, it would not
Right.
have. That to me
Right.
strikes me as like, wow, it's
Yeah. It's
incredible. And it's
crazy,
a bit
right?
the same.
Yeah.
Like, and we were born as humans in planet Earth, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
probably only on planet Earth we could be born as humans, but
Right. Yeah, who
it's
knows?
amazing.
I don't know.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. It's such an exact thing.
yeah,
It's an
everything.
exact everything is
Yeah,
perfectly aligned for this type of life according to the science. But
yeah, I like that. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
like
really
the
interesting.
influence.
Anyway, so
Mm.
there's a lot of suffering with the human experience,
Mm-hmm.
but what comes out of that suffering, like you were saying, is you get backed into a corner, and then what's left to do? You can kill yourself. You can
Mm-hmm.
keep on suffering, or if you hear about something, you hear about some teachings, and there's another way, then you can
Mm.
go that avenue.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're exposed to a lot of these teachings now because we have.
Unfortunately.
I said, fortunately, we
Fortunately.
are
Okay.
exposed to a lot of these
Yeah.
because we have access to the internet, which is
Mm-hmm.
um, incredible. We have
Yeah.
incredible access to
Yeah. I fall
all these
asleep listening
teachings.
to Alan Watts and I wake
Uh-huh.
up listening to
Right.
him and I love it. He's my
Yeah.
guru. I never thought I would say this ever, but he is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So
Mm.
it's really interesting. Um, yeah, if we're fortunate enough to hear these teaching, and I feel super fortunate because I've been exposed to a lot of them,
Yeah.
and I think the more I, I expose myself to them, the more they come, because it just becomes
Mm-hmm.
the mind is just creating more and more
The more you
dharma.
accept, the
Yeah,
more you're less
yeah,
resistant. Yeah. You
yeah.
start seeing
You
more
start seeing more,
and
exactly,
understanding more and
uncovering
makes more
more.
sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's always like that, isn't
yeah.
it?
It
Even
is.
in
Yeah,
when you're in moments of real fear, it's the moment that you decide, fuck that.
yeah,
I cannot handle this fear anymore.
yeah,
I just need to accept it.
yeah.
It's not even a logical thing, but it comes a moment. I mean, I've been in many situations in my life where it comes a moment with so much anxiety building up in my body, and that it comes a point that you just decide, whatever it comes. I'm done with
Right.
this. I'm done with this. And then it's always beautiful. It's always amazing. It's always
Yeah.
an amazing experience that I know I will remember forever.
Right.
The
Right.
moment
Yeah.
that I've decided to, yeah, let go that fear.
Yeah,
and
right.
just not resist it and not to attach to it.
Right.
There's always something amazing after. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just came. Yeah, I don't know why I said that now,
Hmm.
but um,
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So,
mm,
do we cover that
what?
topic pretty well?
I don't
Detachment?
know. Detachment.
Detachment.
Yeah, maybe. I forgot about the detachment. Yeah, I'm more curious about the gods.
I don't know a lot
Even
about the
more.
gods.
Because, for example, in the ayahuasca, one of the other things that I experienced was a voice of in a totally strange language, completely like I have no idea what they were talking about. But the voice was so, it was a man's voice, a masculine voice, and it was so tender and so slightly patronizing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it was almost laughing of me,
Mm.
but not in a bad way, not in a judgmental way, but like in a, I don't know, but I have this image of this voice talking a lot with someone and laughing, not loud laughing, but like smiling and laughing a bit about whatever was observing. And I don't know how, because there was no one. I even tried to look around me to see if there was anyone talking close to me, but it wasn't. I was isolated, and there was no one talking there in that room. And this voice was someone, it was someone wise, someone loving, almost like a grandfather.
Mm.
That was the feeling I had, a bit of this grandfather feeling towards a little granddaughter that is going through an experience and cute little thing, and he's just there observing. There was a bit of patronizing, but a bit of caring also.
Interesting.
And I felt really comfortable with the presence of this voice. I felt really familiar with this voice, but I wasn't understanding anything. And I was thinking, but why are you talking if I cannot even understand what it is? And I was thinking, is this one of those beings, Is this one of the that you talk about?
I don't know.
I
It's
would
possible.
like to understand this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are, of course, there are angelic beings.
Mm-hmm.
There are semi-enlightened and enlightened beings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but those are not what they're calling gods.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, gods, I think, and demigods, I believe, have physicality in this realm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Physicality mean as humans.
meaning, yeah, like you could notice them. You could actually see them. That's
Did
my
you
understanding.
did you ever meet one?
I've met beings. I've met people that I thought were gods. Yeah, like they're just everything goes right for them. Like um,
Who? Tell me one,
they've been
please.
dealt like a really good hand of cards.
Yeah.
They just grow up and
I just call them privilege. Why do you
yeah.
call them gods? I'm kidding. I'm
Um,
actually curious. Tell me about someone that you met. Doesn't have to know the name.
um, yeah, I can't think of anyone specifically. Um, Alec Baldwin used to come in my restaurant in New York City a lot.
Okay.
And I thought of him as like a god.
Mm,
Like he just it was so confident and relaxed. And I mean,
mm,
the guy's just a complete superstar, like he's a great actor.
mm-hmm,
And he had a beautiful girlfriend that he brought in with him,
mm.
who was his fiance. And actually he had a he had a party for um after he asked her to marry him. They had a party in our restaurant, apparently,
Oh,
like a private
okay. He
party.
liked your restaurant.
Yeah, he came back all the time. But yeah, when I talked to him, I was like, oh, like, yeah, he's a total god. Like everything is just
Humble, you mean?
humble and
Smart
yeah,
and
and
all those
smart
qualities
and
that we know. And
funny and yeah, just really had it going on. Like everything about him was just like kind of perfect,
mm,
you know. But maybe gods and demigods are different for every one of us.
mm,
Maybe it's just people that we look up to or see as having everything
Did you
that we
accompany
want.
his life from that moment? Like, do you know where
No,
he is at? Do you know
no, I don't.
what is going on with his life? Did he
No, I
get
don't.
divorced? Did he go into alcohol? Did he
No,
get into
I
drugs?
yeah,
Or,
I don't know. It's possible.
try to kill himself?
Yeah, yeah. I
I
know
mean,
he had
it's
an
possible.
incident.
I'm not saying, I'm not killing your image about Alec
Yeah,
Baldwin. I'm just saying it's possible
yeah,
that that happened. I would be curious if I would have the memory of considering
yeah,
someone so high in a position
yeah.
to
No,
understand how did life go for this
yeah.
person, or how
Well,
did he dealt with.
he had a problem. Well, he shot someone on. He killed someone on a movie set with a gun that
Oh,
was loaded with a
not on
real bullet.
purpose. Okay.
Bullet. Yeah, it's
Mm.
someone put a real bullet in the gun he was
Mm.
using to act with and
Oh,
shot
okay.
and killed him. I think. I
Mm.
think he killed him. Yeah,
I think I heard that
yeah.
years
That was
ago.
Alec Baldwin. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that was a
I
couple
have a
years ago. I think.
memory of that story somehow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe he's not a god, maybe I don't know. I mean, but
Doesn't matter.
God doesn't
But
matter.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you looked at him and you met and you thought he's someone high. Did you ever meet someone in this level, someone closer to you, like a family member or someone?
Um, I don't know. Not really. I don't think so.
My mother was like a goddess to me
Yeah.
in many ways, yeah.
Oh, uh-huh.
But
Right.
also acknowledging how childish she could be.
Right. Uh-huh.
And still it was part of who she was, and still it was beautiful,
Right.
and still
Interesting.
it was human and real.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I've always had with her. It was
Yeah.
real,
Right.
even if she was in, high moments where she was strong and inspiring and a model and to so many people. But at the same time, she was also depressed and down and pissed off with life and yeah, I don't know if that is what is a god can be, or a semi-god. I don't think it's what a god is, but it's
Yeah, a demigod. Yeah,
yeah, a
maybe.
demigod. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to look more into that. I didn't really
Hmm.
I don't have a full understanding of it, but
Yeah.
I just remember that teaching is really interesting. Um, that when you do good deeds, when you do karma yoga, as they say,
Hmm.
and Vedanta, if you're not, if you don't do it with wisdom, then you're just developing good merit, and
Hmm.
and then that good merit goes um, eventually leads you into a better and better situation,
Hmm.
a better life, or whatever. Um, but that doesn't really ultimately lead to wisdom or real
Hmm.
happiness. It just leads to more pleasant situations. So,
That's all right, isn't it?
yeah, but it's interesting,
Isn't
you
it
know,
all right, actually?
if everything is just so pleasant, you know,
We would get tired of it probably, yeah.
yeah,
We would
but
not
also,
value the moments that, yeah, we would not value it forever. We would get
yeah,
bored
right, right.
probably.
We probably get bored with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we also wouldn't be driven to try to figure out what the hell is going on here, you know?
Mm,
Like what is really happening and
mm,
why am I experiencing any of this, you know?
mhm,
What is the human condition really? And so I probably if I was just lying on a beach, you know, um and drinking mai tais all day every
mhm.
day and having a great time, like I probably wouldn't be asking these questions that
Yeah.
have led me to a different understanding of
No,
what
Mai
it means
Tais
to be
have
human.
alcohol, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so you would get
yeah,
depressed eventually and with a bad
yeah, right.
liver, and then you start
Yeah,
having
yeah,
issues.
probably. Yeah, yeah.
So there is a set of principles or not.
What do you mean?
I've been I've been like listening to Alan Watt a lot lately, and it's really good and it really inspires me a lot. It gives me strength.
Hmm.
it puts me in the place that I should be to do my day and do my things. And but then there's a lot of this idea of a game, that life is a game and nothing really matters in the end. Lila, isn't it?
Leela is divine play. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
That's kind of what you're
Yeah,
talking about, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
So everything is that. And then
Yeah.
I think, okay, if nothing matters, doesn't really, like, is it true that nothing matters?
I
The way you conduct yourself in life, the way you
I think
deal with things?
that's a hard pill for most people to swallow.
Yeah.
Because we're taught to believe that things really matter and that certain things matter more than other things.
Mm.
And so for most people, I think that's an idea that is just kind of untenable. You know, it's just it's too extreme for us.
Mhm.
Um, However, the more I am fully aware, the more I realize like it doesn't it really doesn't matter. Like whatever happens really doesn't matter. Ultimately, what matters is, am I being what I really am? Am I in the flow, or am I uh, realizing what I am, and in every moment, you know, and
Mm.
am I able to stay in that? You know, that to me is what really matters.
So if, for example, I've experienced, I was wrong. I did something that was not good, that made someone suffer. And then I realized this. Isn't regret part of the process? Or it doesn't matter, or it should not matter, that whatever happened, it happened, it's done, this is who I am, let's just get over it and continue our lives, you know?
With wisdom, there's automatic compassion,
Okay.
and so
So there's
compassion.
regret, and then there's
Well,
a need for
compassion can,
apologizing or
yeah,
something, yeah?
it could manifest in that way, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not something that you need to try to live by in principle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an automatic thing,
Okay.
and you can't really control it. When you have uh, w- true wisdom, it's not controllable. It's not a decision that you have to try to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something. It's an outpouring of love for everyone and everything. And so automatically, if you have the recognition that something that you did or said caused suffering to another
Mm-hmm.
being, then you could say, "Oh, I'm really sorry." Maybe that's the best thing for them at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You could say, "Look, I didn't mean it that way, and I'm really sorry for doing that." And that could be,
Yeah.
you know, but it's not.
But not
It does.
drown in it and identify with it and feeling the guilt of
No,
it and
no, no.
carry
That's a
it with you.
Catholic thing.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I know. I mean, I'm from Portugal.
It's a
What do you want?
Protestant thing too. No, no, we're trained to do that. You know,
Yeah.
that's part of our social upbringing, you know, like that's part of, yeah, that's part of our conditioning. We're trained to look at things that way, most of us.
So apologizing out of compassion, not apologizing out of guilt.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Apologizing
Yeah.
because that's what that person needs right now, right in
Hmm.
this instant. The best thing that could happen for them is to hear the words out of your mouth, "I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
To help them overcome
Right.
whatever you
Yeah.
did. Yeah, like to
Yeah.
make up for it.
Or to help also to help yourself just let go of whatever it is that happened,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry is like, "Oh, that was stupid. Like I shouldn't have done that probably, you know."
Hmm.
And I'll hopefully I won't do it again, you know. But it's not about me. It's not this self-absorbed kind of, "Oh, I need to be a better person." It's
Yeah.
not about that
It's
at
not about
all.
creating an image. It's about
No, because
doing
ultimately there
something
is no
right.
there
Yeah.
is no individual me
Yeah.
anyway, you know.
Yeah.
So the recognition that there's no individual me, in that recognition that there's no real separation,
Hmm.
then like if I cut my left thumb, if I somehow I cut it and it hurts, right? The right thumb or the right hand automatically comes to like try to help it, right?
Hmm.
This is an automatic thing, right? It's
Uh,
not it's
that's a
not
good one.
the right hand doesn't go, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if I should help you or
yeah,
not," or maybe if I'm a really good hand,
yeah,
then I'll go and I'll try to help you thumb, or maybe
yeah.
you
The
you
hand
said
goes.
something to me last
Yeah,
week and I didn't really like, and I kind of think
yeah,
you're like a doofus, so I'm not really gonna,
yeah.
I'm not gonna help you, or whatever it is. If it's
Hmm.
self motivated,
Yeah,
right? It's yeah, that's
yeah,
not good. But so what happens when you cut your thumb? It's like this, right? It's
mm,
automatic.
yeah,
Why? Because th- these are a part of the whole.
yeah.
There's no separate hand that is has to decide to help this or has to
Hmm.
live by a principle that
Hmm.
says these are the commandments that I'm going to live by. I'm going to help the thumb. I'm going to
Hmm.
help the left thumb. That's
Yeah,
commandment number one,
yeah. It's
right?
about being present
It's
and knowing. Yeah,
automatic. It's
yeah,
automatic.
yeah.
When these seemingly separate entities called humans um, interact with wisdom, they're automatically acting for the benefit of the whole.
Hmm.
Automatically, because there is no separate. There is no illusion of a separate self.
Yeah.
So it's automatic, an outpouring of complete devotion and compassion and love for the whole, because that's what is. That's what
Hmm.
is true. And so any action that comes out of that is automatically like the best action, is automatically um, beneficially intended.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Makes sense. Um, Spiritual bypassing. What is that?
so I hear that spiritual bypassing is avoiding the emotions and negative thoughts or pain or some kind of suffering, avoiding it by picking up some idea, some concept, a spiritual concept, like, oh, we're all one, and
Mhm.
so I don't have to deal with my emotions, and you obviously just need to see that we're all one, and
Yeah.
then you won't have any problems, and you won't have
Yeah.
to
Oh,
deal with
everything is a game,
every
so I
yeah.
don't need to care for how stupid I was and
Right,
then being an
right,
asshole to you and
right,
all
right,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not really addressing anything. We're not
Hmm.
addressing what's really happening. We're just avoiding it. So my understanding of the concept is that it's just a way to avoid what's happening and to avoid doing real work on ourselves. Um,
Well, we can get
and
stuck in it for years, can't we? Yeah. I know
absolutely,
people that
absolutely,
actually are. Like they
yeah,
started being the most aware, and
yeah,
even inspiring in the beginning,
yeah,
and then as I accompany their presence, along years, then I
yeah,
see like, man, there's something stuck in this
yeah,
person.
yeah,
And sometimes it was friends, like
yeah,
people I knew,
yeah,
and my only explanation is that they got stuck to an idea of
yeah,
protecting themselves with these
yeah,
theories, with
yeah,
what
right,
the
yeah,
books say. Yeah. It's
yeah.
really dangerous, but it's also a very fine line
It's
between
a
doing
very
that
fine
and
line. Yeah, and I think we all do it to a certain
mm-hmm.
extent. I
Mm.
know I've done it many times.
Yeah.
I've latched on to concepts about Buddhism or Vedanta and thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is going to solve all my problems. And I'm just going to believe this. I'm just going to think this. I'm just going to say this mantra. And then all the bad things will disappear,
Yeah.
and then I won't, and it never happened like that. And so I think it's a very natural thing for us to experience. Spiritual bypassing is not just something that someone else does. And to think that it's just something that someone else does is probably also spiritual bypassing,
Yeah.
you know? It's not acknowledging that you're doing it too,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
So, um, it's kind of like anything that we do to try to push away pain and suffering,
Yeah.
like alcohol or something. Maybe alcohol or drugs are a spiritual form of
It's a
spiritual
makeup.
bypassing.
Is making it. It's makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trying to cover
Yeah.
up what's really happening because
Mhm.
you don't wanna deal with it,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. I've done it in many ways. I'm thinking if I did it in a spiritual with spiritual concepts, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I definitely have done it with spiritual concepts,
Mhm.
and it's very easy to do,
Mhm.
and it's also it leads to kind of arrogance where I'm better than someone else because I know the truth, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm wise or I'm enlightened and
Yeah.
and they're not. Um,
Yeah.
that's total spiritual bypass, you know, and because
I
if you
have a
really
really
are,
big scanning machine for that, but that's also judgment on my part, and that's also something that I'm doing. And
what
when
do you
I'm
mean?
judging, I realized that I've been, especially, in this, since the last 20 years of my life, dealing with a lot of spiritual people, we're all spiritual, obviously, but,
Yeah,
people that assume
yeah,
themselves as spiritual,
yeah,
and that want to show and
yeah,
create an image. I was always very judgmental of pointing,
yeah,
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 yeah, you're very spiritual, but you do this and but
yeah,
you do that,
yeah.
and all that, which is also a protection for my ego and
Right,
for my
right. Yeah,
um
yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean that these people are not having realizations and discovering things about themselves. And what you
Right.
say is actually true. Maybe it's just a part of the process, and maybe we should accept that we all
I
go
think
through
so.
that. We
Yeah, I
all
think
go
it's a
through that.
very human thing to do.
I tend to deny it, which is also not great.
Mm.
I tend to do the opposite.
What do you mean?
Like in myself, to go deep into experiences and as accepting concepts and perspectives, like as truths to myself personally, very intimately with myself. But then when I'm with other people, I almost hide myself from those realizations or acceptances, like showing that no, this is not me. I don't do that,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
which also is the opposite, like is almost refusing your experience and
Yeah,
your learning process, but
absolutely.
I've also I realized lately that I've been doing that I'm
Yeah.
not at it's something that I don't want to disappoint people about the changes that I
Yeah.
have inside of me, something like that.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
realizing this,
Yeah. I think we all, like, again, I think we all do that to an extent.
hmm
We make ourselves presentable,
yeah,
you know, because that's what we're trained to do.
yeah,
We're not trained to we're not brought up to just be fully honest about ourselves with other people.
yeah.
We're brought up to act and try to have a good time and try to make ourselves look good.
That is the hardest thing to let go, I would say, because
Yeah,
it's something since you're a
yeah,
baby.
yeah,
People push you to be
yeah,
that, to do
yeah,
that, and not to be yourself, which is understandable because you do have to learn how to be in society, and society has certain values. And I understand that even I pushed my daughter to do
yeah.
things that in my inside of me I didn't feel good about,
Hmm.
but I felt it was going to be better for her,
Right,
in
right,
this society.
right.
It
Yeah,
wasn't nice, and I think all parents do that in a way, but I
yeah,
was aware that this is not who she is, and this is not who what I should be doing as a mother, but
right, right.
I did it, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, parenting is an imperfect
Yeah, you're always
thing.
in this line of, doing the wrong
Right.
thing or the good thing,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I think it's the more we accept ourselves for what we are,
mhm,
then the more we're able to just let go of,
yeah,
and accept what they're becoming, and also how we're teaching them, what we're
yeah,
teaching them. Um, it, I think it becomes more natural. Whatever you do is just natural.
yeah,
You're not going to blame yourself for bringing them up the wrong way, because that's just what you naturally did.
yeah,
It was just who you were at that time,
yeah,
and you did the best you could, and that's good enough.
right,
Why should it not be good enough?
yeah.
You know?
But culture has a big thing in your life experiences.
Yeah,
It's
for
and you
sure.
want to protect them from your experiences.
Yeah, for sure. For
Like for
sure.
example, with my daughter, I remember a day that she always, since she's a baby, she's really at ease to be naked,
Yeah,
uh, and I was always happy with that and
yeah,
proud of it. But as she starts growing, I started feeling a bit more uneasy, like uncomfortable of seeing her in public spaces
yeah,
completely naked, especially if other people are not. And then there was a time that I said to her, we were going through the village near where I live, and I said to her, "You're naked. Stay in the car. I'll go to the cafe. I'll get the stuff, and then I'll come inside. Don't come out." And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But of course, Olivia, she doesn't care. She comes out of the car completely naked. And this is, very traditional culture, especially in the interior of Portugal.
yeah,
And this Catholicism and all this, and the proper way of presenting yourself and all that. And there were these ladies there, and immediately they told her off. I was inside the cafe, and they told her off. And they said, "What are you doing naked here? You go in the car and put some pants and put a dress. What are you doing?" And I was inside the cafe, and I heard this. And I remember really feeling, as I was buying something, like, oh, she's being told off about this.
yeah,
So I felt that, oh, she's going to suffer
yeah,
and when I got in the car, she was hiding behind the chairs, really ashamed. I never saw my daughter ashamed. She was so ashamed of herself. She was really hiding and crying. And so on the way home, I was talking with her. I hugged her. We sat down and I was talking with her, but I could not say, something in me wanted to say, doesn't matter, screw them, don't care about what they say, your
yeah,
body is fine and you should be proud of it, and it doesn't matter if but I couldn't. I had to say, look, Ollie, this is, we live in society, we live, and there's cultures, and specifically here in Portugal and specifically here in the interior, people don't look well at it, especially older people. They don't
yeah,
look well to that, and so you will be judged, you will be pointed at, and you will be criticized by. So that's why mommy was always saying, "Don't do it. Don't go to the village. I mean, if you're swimming is one thing, but if you go out to the
yeah,
cafe, don't go naked and all that." But I hated. I hated doing this to her. I hated myself for doing this because I thought, yeah, I knew I was giving her a tool to live in society, but at the same time, I was very frustrated that I had to
yeah,
do it. That I felt
yeah,
like I had to do it,
yeah,
but I still feel like I had to. And
yeah.
there's many other things in parenting that happens.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
sure. Yeah, it's not easy for sure. Um, but I mean, I'm at the point where I know that I don't really know,
Mm.
how to be a good parent. Like ultimately, I don't. I just kind of gave up trying to be a good parent.
Yeah.
I just um I I'm not really trying. Yeah, I guess I'm just not really trying anymore to do
Mhm.
that. I'm just um on on my best days, I just act naturally, and it's and
With
and
honesty,
with honesty,
with who you
and
are.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's always the best,
Yeah.
because
In the end, yeah.
and yeah, if it's done out of love, then it will work itself out
Mhm.
anyway, and so again, it's not really that important. It's more about where I'm at with myself. Am I present or not?
Mhm.
That's the most important thing about parenting and about everything else, because then everything, there's no regret.
Yeah.
It's all just whatever happens is happening because that's what needs to happen right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. In that moment,
Yeah,
that's the best you could do.
and there's no trying to live up to certain standards of society or whatever
Yeah.
we've been taught or conditioned to say or do, There's none of that. Everything just that all those points of view that we've tried to live by and mostly failed
Mhm.
throughout the years, all those points of view are just seen as more points of view. They're seen as cultural
Yeah.
conditioning, and then you can, if we see them as to what they are, that they're not really us, and they don't really have much to do with what we really are in our lives, our ability to be as we are, um, then that's not so important.
I mean, ultimately, yes. Yes. But I
Yeah.
mean, there is a natural tendency also to try to give them the tools that you didn't have,
Oh,
for
yeah.
example,
Yeah.
there is that.
But
That is cultural. That is from your experience, from your ego, whatever.
sure,
But
sure.
we want to also give them that. I mean, at least,
But
I,
you just explained to me that
mhm.
you're aware of this distinction of,
Yes,
and
yes.
you
Hmm.
explained that to her when
Yeah,
she felt ashamed.
yeah.
Lucky her that she has a
Mhm.
mom who is able to see this, who has discernment. I mean, because then she's going to have this discernment.
Yeah,
She's going to be able to say, look, I don't have to be ashamed of my body when other people are telling me to
yeah,
be ashamed of my body. You
yeah.
know that that now I know that they're just conditioned. They're trained to to see things a certain way, and I
Hmm.
don't have to see them that way.
Yeah,
I can just be
yeah.
myself, and
Definitely, that's the best tool I can give her. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So super cool.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So good. Well, thank you
De
for
nada.
coming again,
Prazer.
and
Mm.
and hopefully you can come back again in a couple of weeks,
For
maybe.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be lovely. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.